Hey friends, I am Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me PBJ. And I give leaders the tools to beat burnout for good so that they can love their work again. Friend, I am so honored to be here with you as we celebrate, as we take in this experience of the Women's History Month virtual speaker series sponsored by the Black Speakers Network and Speak Black Woman community. Friend, listen, you are in for a treat. As we know, celebrating women's history is about the celebration. It is about drawing attention to the impact that women have had all over this world. But it's not just about our impact, it's also about our struggle. It's also about the ways and the places that we still have to go to move towards equality. So, in this space, friend, we are going to celebrate, we are going to engage, but you are also going to have your cup filled with what you need. So, listen, we are all here together. I need you to get into the chat. Let us know where you are from, where you're watching from. If a speaker says something that touches your heart, let them know. Make sure we hear from you. We're going to get started, and I will be back at the end to chat with you again.
Well, hello and welcome. My name is Anita Russell. I'm the founder and CEO of The Place to Soar. I'm a personal transformation expert, professional speaker, three-time international best-selling author, and host of Inflection Point podcast. I'd like to share some of my thoughts on celebrating Women's History Month. As a member of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, I have the benefit of learning from historians, archivists, researchers, and university professors. The ultimate reward is exposure to the deeply rooted nuances of historical accounts that are hidden in plain sight as we grapple with the turmoil of today. And I actually love the juxtaposition of Black History Month and Women's History Month. So as we move from February into March, I see it as a segue into different episodes of similar stories from the perspective of women. One of the common themes embedded in Black History Month and Women's History Month is women in leadership. Dr. Joanne Bridget Chula from the Rutgers Business School says, leadership is not a person or a position. It is a complex moral relationship between people based on trust, obligation, commitment, emotion, and a shared vision of the good. So, who are some of the historical women in leadership that come to mind when you consider those involved in Black resistance, the civil rights movement, or the women's suffrage movement? Dr. Janet Dewart Bell, author of Lighting the Fires of Freedom, African American Women in the Civil Rights Movement. She cites three modes of Black women leadership during the civil rights movement: transformational leadership, servant leadership, and adaptive leadership. Transformational leaders are people like Ella Josephine Baker, a behind the scenes organizer and mentor who encouraged, motivated, and inspired people to advocate for themselves and to develop their own approaches to the struggle. Joanne Robinson, an Alabama educator, was a servant leader who organized the Montgomery bus boycott, handled day-to-day operations, and was active in the Women's Political Council for Black Women Professionals, voter registration, and advocacy for women who were victims of rape and assault. Adaptive women leaders are those who are concerned with ensuring that the leaders would adapt, persevere, and thrive by creating necessary support systems and social networks. Georgia Teresa Gilmore, a cook and midwife, participated in the Montgomery bus boycott through fundraisers and grassroots activation to sustain the 382-day boycott. As you think deeper about women in leadership, you might recall non-Black women leaders involved in civil unrest, such as Japanese American activist Yuri Kochiyama, who appears beside Malcolm X in the Life magazine picture when he was assassinated on February 21st, 1965. Then there's white American activist Joan Trumpower Mulholland, freedom writer, and lunch counter protester who served as secretary of the local Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in Jackson, Mississippi. Or perhaps your example is that of a woman leading the women's suffrage movement and the fight for women to have the right to vote. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott organized the first convention called to discuss the civil and political rights of women in 1848. Native American rights activist Mary Louise Bodineau from the Office of Indian Affairs and a member of the Metis Turtle Mountain Band of the Chippewa marched in the 1913 Women's Suffrage Parade in Washington, D.C., while Ida B. Wells, investigative journalist and suffrage advocate, defied the demand that Black women march in the back of the same suffrage parade. Consider these questions as you ponder women in leadership today. Whose leadership have you personally been influenced by? What 3 words would you use to characterize this woman as a leader? What has been the influence on you personally? How do you manifest that influence as you reimagine the future? For me, there were 2 women who stand out as influential leaders in my career. I met both women while working in the pharmaceutical industry. Our paths crossed around 2007 as I led the development of a breast cancer awareness program to be implemented and delivered in South Africa. One was Pangasili Mtshali, the former director of corporate philanthropy at the company's corporate foundation. She was a Zulu woman from South Africa who epitomized the definition of a global citizen. The other was Dr. Frida Lewis Hall, at the time serving as the chief medical officer of the same company. I viewed Dr. Lewis Hall as a leader who guided me on how to recognize and manage the executive sponsor's concerns as we put together the plan for the program. The 3 words that come to mind as I think about these 2 influential women leaders are grace, strength, and resilience. In leading me with grace, they met me where I was, while simultaneously challenged me to tap into the strength that lies in my discomfort zone. That is to stand and do something I had never dreamed of until this project came across my desk. They also taught me the art of resilient leadership, with the foresight to manage the unexpected without losing sight of the bigger picture. Working with Pangasili Mtshali and Dr. Frida Lewis Hall enabled me to become the influential leader that I see in myself today. I mentioned earlier that Ida B. Wells had defied the women's suffrage demand that Black women stay at the back of the parade in 1913. I sometimes wonder how much more powerful the movement could have been if Black women had been embraced by gender rather than rejected by race. Having said that, here's my final question for you. Can you imagine what we could achieve if women stood on one accord to reimagine a future based on equity, individual accountability, and the freedom to peacefully exist in whatever skin or gender you are born? Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette J. Morris. I am a psychotherapist by trade, but I am also the CEO and owner of Go Getter LLC. And it's our vision at Go Getter LLC to help female entrepreneurs to leverage their businesses, implement multiple streams of income so they can leverage those streams of income to live a legacy and to leave one, right? So today, my subject matter that I'm going to be talking about is dream big, live bigger. So the steps I'm going to be talking to you all about today is how to go from having a dream to full manifestation of that dream, right? And so often we talk about this in terms of vision boards, right? Yearly, annually, you know, come January, everybody has their vision board. They're hosting vision board parties, and they're talking about the things that they want to see manifest in their lives in that particular year, right? This year was no different. However, one of the things that I realized that people struggle with is the actual manifestation of the goal, right? So we know how to make very beautiful and pretty vision boards, cut the pictures out of magazines, you know, write everything or whatever, but we don't know the transition from bringing it into a big dream or even bigger and living in that particular dream. So that is what I want to talk to you all about on today, how to manifest the dreams so that they will not be prolonged as dreams in your life, but you can see the full manifestation of that dream, right? So anything that you want in life typically will start with a dream, right? You'll say, hey, I want to go to school. I want to get a college degree. I want to be a homeowner. I want to purchase a home. I want this particular car, my dream car, whatever it is, right? So it starts as a dream, but you have to move it from the dream stage onto the next phase, which is a goal stage, right? And so setting the dream as a goal will require you to give that assignment a date, right? Because a goal without a date is still a dream, right? So which means, like, if I say I want to purchase my dream car, I have to say I want to purchase my dream car by December 31st. I want to be a homeowner by September 1st, whatever it is, right? I want to achieve a college degree. You know, that's a 4-year process, right? So if you've never been to college and you say, okay, well, I know it's going to take me at least 4 years to secure a college degree, right? So everything has to have a time or a date in order to aspire to it, right? So that's when it goes from being a dream to a goal once you assign a date to it, right? So then you map out absolutely everything that you want to see in your life, right? Whether it's this year, the next 3 months, the next 6 months, whatever it is, right? So I want to lose 10 pounds by this particular date. I want to, purchase a home by this particular date. I want to start getting therapy this particular date, right? Whatever it is that you want to see manifest in your life. And I tend to break my vision board down into certain areas that I want to see manifested. So like my physical health, mental health, financial goals, what I want to do in business, all of these things, right? So I break it down into areas and determine what I want to accomplish in those particular areas and which date, right? So the next step from dreaming is to set a goal and assign a date to it. Because again, a goal without a date is still a dream. The next phase is to map out the action plan that coincide with whatever the goal is, right? And this is where I see a lot of people fail, because they'll set the goal. They don't have issues with setting goals, creating vision boards, whatever it is. The problem is they don't move to the next phase, which is creating an action plan to accomplish that goal, right? So if your goal is, let's say if your goal is to lose weight, right? And you say, I want to lose 50 pounds this year, right? You have to break that down into bite-sized goals, because first of all, that's an overwhelming goal for your mind to process 50 pounds, right? Whereas if you told yourself, listen, as opposed to saying 50 pounds for the year, I want to lose 1 pound per week, right? And then the action plan that coincides with that. So how will you accomplish the goal of losing 1 pound per week, right? I'm going to exercise 5 days a week. One day I'll do cardio, the next day I'll work on arms, whatever the scenario may be, right? So it requires an action plan to coincide with whatever the goal is so that you can accomplish it. If your goal is to be a homeowner and you know your credit score is 300, home ownership ain't an option right now, right? You have to work towards that. So what is the action plan? First step is I need to get my credit in order, right? I may need to find a credit restoration company to work with me because I don't do credit, whatever the scenario may be, right? So each goal, in order to attain it and bring it from a dream into manifestation, requires you to map out an action plan if you want to see success with that particular goal, or if you want to bring it into truly want to bring it into manifestation in your life. If you want to secure a college degree, you know, to secure a college degree, you have to attend college, right? So the first step to attending college is to even apply, right? You have to apply to school. You have to be accepted. Once you're accepted, you have to make a decision on what track you want to follow, right? Which degree I want to secure, all of these type things, right? So you have to map out the action plan that coincides with whatever the actual goal is, right? Once you've moved from creating the action plan, you have to move into the implementation phase, right? And again, a lot of us get to the point where we see the action steps that are necessary and we get inundated with overwhelm, right? So we get to a point where we're like, okay, well, this seems like a lot. It's too much for me to do. I don't want to do it. I'll use, for example, I just finished a project on yesterday. Me and my team just finished a project on yesterday that it took us 90 days to do, right? I knew it was a long time, but the thing about I really didn't realize how long it was until I went back in emails, and we had actually started on this process December 6th, right? So it took us almost 94 days to complete this particular project, right? But we had to go through all of the action steps to move that thing from being a dream to full manifestation, right? And I'll tell you the truth. Actually, I started on a project in 2017 and put it on the side and completely forgot about it, right? So if I didn't implement the action steps then, which is how I know if you don't implement the necessary action steps or create the action strategy, right? I created the action strategy, I just didn't do the implementation phase. So you literally have to do all of the phases in order to see anything manifest in your life, right? You have to set the goal, right? You have to create the action plan. You have to actually implement the action plan to see full manifestation of whatever that is that you absolutely desire in your life, right? So again, we'll go back to weight loss, right? And I guess it's not a secret anymore that I'm on a weight loss journey, right? We'll go back to weight loss, right? So if you map out and say, so my goal is to work out 6 days a week, right? So technically Wednesdays are my off days and I work out every other day of the week, right? So one day I'll have 30 minutes of cardio. Another day I'm going to work on abs. Another day I work on arms. Another day I work on legs. Another day I work on back, right? So each day has an assignment. I map this out in my planner, right? Which day I want to go to the gym and do all cardio. Which day I want to go to the gym and do cardio and abs. It's mapped out in my planner, right? So that is the action plan. But when I move it from the action plan to implementation, I literally and physically have to go to the gym to do the exercises that I mapped out in my action plan, right? So that is the implementation of whatever it is that you want to see, right? Again, whatever it is that you want to manifest in life, if you coincide the dream and set it as a goal, remember the goal has to have a date to move from being a dream to a goal, because a goal without a date is still a dream, right? You map out the action plan, whatever the necessary action steps are. And one of the things that you'll realize, like I said, a lot of people get overwhelmed when they start looking at like, this is going to take a lot for me to do, but it's not required for you to do absolutely everything at once, right? You do it and break it down into bite-sized pieces. I just had a conversation with a group of my clients last night. We were doing a group coaching session, and I was telling them, like, literally, when you are trying to accomplish a goal, envision that goal as a pie, right? You would never, if somebody brought you a pie, right, you would never sit down and just try to eat the whole pie at one time, right? You'll eat the pie slice by slice. And that's how you accomplish your particular goals, right? You have to envision it as a pie. This is one big goal, and then I take it slice by slice until you've eaten the whole pie, right? Or until you've manifested the goal. So that's with anything. Home ownership, getting a college degree, whatever it is. Home ownership, you know, okay, this piece of the pie is going to be fixing my credit. This piece of the pie is going to be finding a real estate agent. This slice of the pie is going to be getting the money for the down payment. This slice of the pie is going to be, do I need to get another job to get the down payment, or can I leverage my business, whatever it is, right? So once you've accomplished and eaten one slice of the pie, then you move on to the next, right? Until you've accomplished the absolute entire thing. So that is what implementation looks like, right? Reviewing your action strategies and actually taking the steps to manifest whatever it is, right? And then the very last phase of that is the manifestation. So once you've dreamed it, right? Dream big, live bigger. Once you've dreamed it, you set a goal for it, assign a date to it, so it's no longer a dream. You map out the action plan, you implement the action plan, then you will see full manifestation. So that's how you would transition your dream life into your real life, right? Dream big, live bigger, which is the topic of my speech on today. So hopefully this has helped you all so that you can manifest whatever it is that you desire to see in 2023. Again, my name is Annette J. Morris. I am the owner and CEO of Go Getter LLC. And again, it's our mission and our vision to help female entrepreneurs to leverage their businesses with multiple streams of income so that they can not only leave a legacy, but to live a legacy as well. I can be reached or found on all platforms. On Facebook, I am Annette J. Morris, MA. On Instagram, the same. On Instagram, my business is gold_getter_LLC and Gold Getter LLC on Facebook. I hope to talk to you all soon. You all have a wonderful and prosperous 2023. See y'all in the future. Bye-bye.
I am Kieanna Childs Alexander. I'm a personal development consultant. And today I wanted to kind of take you back in the past with me, the past, which is my undergrad years. During my undergrad years, I had the wonderful opportunity under an illustrious university professor to complete an independent research study. An independent research study would allow for me to conduct research on any array of topics that I could think of, and not only do research on that topic, but also present them back to my university professor. So I decided to do a research on a very large national organization. And I was glad that I picked that national organization because through my research, I was able to find the local branch of the large organization that I chose to do my research on. After I completed my research, got a really good grade on it, I was able to join the local branch of the organization I had done research on. And what I immediately noticed when I walked in the door is that it was heavily male dominated. But for some reason, even at my young age at the time, I was not shaken. I was not bothered with it. It may have been a little bit about being oblivious to the fact that I was in a sphere that didn't really encompass women leadership. But again, when you're kind of young and you're not looking at that and you've done all this research on this group, you're there normally for the right reasons, and that's because you believe in the mission and the vision of the organization. Nonetheless, while being there, I was afforded an opportunity to actually join an executive committee. And that's when the fun truly, truly began for me. I was able to do so many different advocacy work and be in the presence of really huge movers and shakers. And then you had someone like myself at the time who was really just getting my feet wet in academics, just becoming a true woman of my own, so to speak. But I knew that I did have a love for this organization because, again, I had did the research. So within probably a year of being a part of the organization, there was a little bit of a shakeup and they needed individuals to step up to take on certain roles. And one of those roles was to be a counselor to the youth portion of it. So I didn't hesitate to do that. I had the opportunity to impact and impart in some other young person's life. And I wanted that for my own self. So it was a no-brainer to step up for that. Within a few years, an opportunity arose too, where there was an election that took place. And so during that election, I don't know where I got the idea from, but again, I had done the research, I had done the hands-on work, and I've shown my true commitment to the group. So I decided to go forth and run for a vice president's position. And let me tell you, that was a changing moment in terms of my volunteerism. And the reason why it was a changing moment was simply because it was not supported. I didn't get the good feels or the rah rah hey hey around who I was because, in essence, I didn't have a name. In fact, many individuals around me suggested that I come out of trying to get the vice president's role and maybe give myself some time. And maybe we should give it to someone who has a more well-known name. In fact, let's do some pastors. That'd be great. Let's put them in that role. And although my heart was broken and I was a little bit defeated, it didn't skip a beat. See, what I realized is their no's for me meant really go in my head. That meant go. You're doing something right. You're actually meaning to be in that position because if you weren't, they wouldn't be so adamant in saying to you that you really shouldn't do this. So I did just what I meant, and that was to go and go forth with it. And I stood in my everything and told individuals that no, this is what I've been preparing for. This is the leadership role that I'm being called to. And without certainty, when you tell people that, you know what, this is what I'm being called to, you have to be ready for opposition. And that's exactly what happened with me as well. People were put up against me to actually run and they were cheering that other side on. And I had my own self there, just me, myself, and I, believing in the fact that I could do a great job. One thing that I must always pay homage to is my father. If he taught me nothing else, he did say to me that sometimes in life you're going to be your own cheerleader. And truer words were never spoken. At that moment, I really was my own cheerleader. But if I'm going to be a cheerleader, as I was in my past, an adult, I'm going to be the best cheerleader, especially for myself. And that's just what I did. I cheered myself on to the ending. And I won those positions as a vice president, in fact, in a room that was stacked with nothing but males. Nothing against that, but I needed to see someone that mirrored my own image of being a woman and a woman in a leadership position at that. So I knew it was critical and pivotal for me to be elated and joyed that people entrusted me to have that position and hold it sacredly. Years went on, and I was elevated to another vice president's position. And then it came a time where we were at a crossroads within this organization. And that crossroads were that we were losing leadership. So someone had to take that top level position. And I literally went home one night, I prayed, I woke up, and I decided that I'm going to throw my hat in for that as well. Once again, the position was absolutely critical and pivotal. And I also didn't hear the rah rah yay yay cheers from the crowd that I wish to have that support from. But I had the support of knowing that their no's or their gloominess or their why don't you do something else meant for me to keep going. You were meant to do this. So now is your time. And I did just that. I ran uncontested for a leadership position within the organization. And since that time, I've developed and grown in other organizations as well that I give of my time freely, I give of my energy freely, and I also stand by the mission and vision of all of those organizations. Now, I'm not telling anyone that to toot my own horn or say, hey, hi, look at me. What I'm saying that to you is that in life, you're not going to get the support that you really, really deserve or you really, really need at that moment. Instead, you are going to hear the word no repeatedly throughout your journey. And if you don't hear that no at least one time, then maybe that journey really isn't your purpose or where you're driven to go to. I've heard no so many times that I'm accustomed to hearing it. But one thing about a no, I definitely take that N out and put a G in there and make it a go. I go towards whatever it is that I'm looking and searching to be. I stand on the shoulders of individuals like Harriet Tubman. I stand on the shoulders of people like Sojourner Truth. That tells me right then and there that I have to keep forging forward. I can't allow anyone's no to deter me from my ultimate goals. I wish when I was a younger little girl, I had someone like myself to look at and say, hey, she kept going no matter what. But I'm at a point in my life now where I can actually give back time and mentor two younger women and little girls and encourage them to never allow someone else's no to dictate where you will go. The process definitely is daunting. It's hard. I'm not going to lie. Things will not always go the way you want them to be. And most certainly, you will not have everyone in your corner. But if you keep your divine purpose, if you keep looking forward and going straight to where you want to be, you'll get there. Don't worry about those no's. Again, they will come. But the focus is for you to go and keep going and go so far so that when you leave this earth, you transition over, that there is someone else that's standing on your shoulders and you then become the ancestor that you looked for. I really hope that someone out there is inspired. Again, remember, just because you hear that no, that doesn't mean stop. That means actually go. Check me out on the web at kchildsalexander.com. Have a happy Women's History Month.
Sis, you're doing too much. God didn't create you to win by yourself. What we traditionally think when it comes to doing too much as a kingdom entrepreneur, scheduling client and team meetings, managing workflows, vendor management, requesting proposals, ordering and shopping for office supplies, checking emails and voicemails, managing operating budgets, strategizing and goal casting, and so much more. What if leaning on God, asking Him to expand your thought process on acquiring the right kind of help for your business could help you grow your business in ways you never imagined? Well, what if I told you acquiring the right kind of help could be so much more than that? Imagine coming to your team huddle and your assistant has developed the agenda and prepared the team to report. Imagine not having to attend so many weekly meetings because your team has developed a system to organize and manage your clients. Imagine your team executing a project without you having to be present because you've trained them to be an extension of you. Imagine being able to really lean into your zone of genius, provide the best service for your clients because you can call on your trusted team members for everything outside of your wheelhouse. Hi, I'm Lucretia Williams. I'm the owner of Distinct Event Planning, an event planning and design company located in Columbus, Ohio. We specialize in planning and designing corporate events, nonprofit events, and social events. I'm also the founder of the Empowered Women's Society, where our mission is to remind every God-fearing, career-focused woman that she is destined to live a life of abundance. So, God gave you the vision to start the business, but He never intended for you to do all of the work by yourself. Success rarely happens in isolation, and when it does, it's less gratifying. Numbers 11:16 through 17 reads, "The Lord said to Moses, bring me 70 of Israel's elders who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share the burden of the people with you so that you will not have to carry it alone." Have you ever watched God let you wear yourself out trying to do stuff by yourself, sis? And when you finally gave up and said, "God, I can't do this," that's when He shows up and He shows Himself strong. Things are better in life when we share the responsibility. Sis, take off the superwoman cape. You can't do everything by yourself. You have to know when you're doing too much. Delegate responsibilities. Wow, I love this so much. The actual definition of delegate says to trust to the care or management of another, to transfer or share responsibility. Things are better in life when we share their responsibilities. You have to know when you're doing too much. But as a business owner, you have so much on your plate, right? We're worried about things like branding, marketing, staff, payroll. Is delegating responsibilities really that important in the grand scheme of things? My answer to that is absolutely yes. I am going to share my 3 reasons why business owners don't delegate. Number 1, we have perfection tendencies. We tend to think that it can only be done right if we do it, which we know is not true. My second reason why business owners don't delegate, we're territorial. And I get it. As a business owner, I know I have birthed this thing. It's my baby. I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, a lot of money, a lot of education. So there is a level where being territorial is okay, but it's not okay when we're not letting the right kind of help in to help our business grow and become more successful. And the third reason why business owners don't delegate, we don't take time to train. Several years ago, I decided that I wanted to build a team because I was doing everything by myself. And one of the first people I hired was a virtual assistant. She was phenomenal. I mean, she was phenomenal. She fired me. I can laugh about it now, but and rightfully so. She said to me, Lucretia, you have not taken enough time out of your busy schedule to train me to do my job. I need to understand the full operational side of your business. And I just didn't take the time to train because I was wearing so many different hats and I was so busy. I actually had to go through a few virtual assistants to really understand their worth and why they were sent to me to do the job that I'm paying them to do. Exodus 18:25 through 26 reads, He chose capable men from all Israel and made them leaders of the people, officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They served as judges for the people at all times. The difficult cases they brought to Moses, but the simple ones they decided themselves. In the Life Application Study Bible, it reads, Moses was spending so much time and energy hearing the Hebrews' complaints that he could not get to the other important work. Jethro suggests that Moses delegate most of his work to others and focus his efforts on jobs only he could do. People in positions of responsibility sometimes feel that they're the only ones who can do necessary tasks, but others are capable of handling part of the load. Delegation relieved Moses' stress and it improved the quality of the people's lives as well. It helped prepare them for the system of government set up in Canaan. Proper delegation can multiply your effectiveness while giving others a chance to grow. And that's how you know God didn't create us to win by ourselves. So, determine what needs your energy. When you give too much energy to small matters, you won't have any energy for what matters most. And as a business owner, there are certain things that only you can do. If I'm attending all the client meetings, planning all the events, attending all the meetings with our staff and project manager and our social media team, what part of the business is not getting done that only the CEO can do? Bookkeeping, human resources, payroll, certifications. None of the staff can do those things. Only you can do those things. And those things are the bigger things that matter most. You need some hands-on people in your life. What do you mean, Lucretia? Well, I'm glad you asked. You need executors. You need people that can come alongside of you that you've trained and you've delegated responsibilities to that can actually execute. and help move your business forward and become more successful. Great dreams are heavy, and they're not meant to be carried by a single pair of hands. I'm going to say it again. Great dreams are heavy, and they are not meant to be carried by a single pair of hands. One of my most favorite quotes is, "You don't go far as your dream, you go as far as your team." You want to empower your people, you want to train them up, you want to delegate responsibilities, you want to give them part of your territory. Because when you do that as a collective, as you all collaborate together as a team, you're going to move your business forward and you're going to become more successful and you're going to make more money doing it. Thank you for your time today. Again, my name is Lucretia Williams. I appreciate being here with you all, and I look forward to connecting with you. You can find me at distincteventplanning.com and at theempoweredwomensociety.com. Take care.
Hi, I'm Nicole Azaán, the VIP coach, and today I am pleased to speak with you about the VIP coaching method and powerful questions for transformation. I want to share with you how to cultivate vision, clarify intention, and understand purpose so that you can improve your physical, mental, emotional, relational health, and even your career. For the past 15 years, I have been coaching individuals, corporations. I have worked with Fortune 500 companies, as well as individuals and couples, interfaith organizations, and even your civic organizations. Yes, I've worked with sororities and fraternities in varied coaching capacities to enable them to have a more cohesive engagement, to enable them to be equipped to impact the community and stay mission-centered. So today, I'm pleased to speak with you about powerful questions for transformation. Now, powerful questions, of course, are the art of coaching. If you're not familiar, coaching is a $9 billion industry. And what is unique about the V.I.P coaching model, which stands for vision, intention, and purpose, is that as one of less than 15% of African American women who are master coaches, and moreover, as one of less than 2% of coaches who have developed their own coaching model, I'm delighted and have been thrilled that VIP coaching has been able to have the impact that it has, to be recognized by Forbes, the culture, to work and to transform lives, relationships, and performance. So let's get into it. First, we need to talk about vision. To cultivate vision, you have to understand who you want to be. The VIP coaching model is a fluid model based on the elements of solution, which are vision, intention, and purpose. When you're cultivating vision, most people experience a failure, whether it is in relationships or whether it's in job performance, communication, physical health, not being able to stick to that resolution that you made for the new year, the new you. It's a matter of vision. And often our vision is divided. It is pulled in a lot of different directions. So when we're cultivating vision, some of the questions that we want to ask are, who do I want to be? You see, no matter where you are in life or in your relationships, even in your job performance, vision is what you can control. The VIP coaching model is empowerment based. No matter what your economic or social status is, whether you're employed, unemployed, underemployed, struggling to find employment, whether you are differently abled, the VIP coaching model is designed to equip you to tap into the resources that you do have at your disposal. And by using them, by asking the powerful questions, you will be able to transform the area of life that you're focused in. So when you are cultivating vision, I want you to pause and I want you to think, who do I want to be? Not whom society has told or shown me I should be, not whom expectations of culture, religion, or family have impressed upon me to be, but who do I want to be? And what is necessary for me to become that person? That cultivating vision will move you to the next stage, which is intention. Intention is where we align our vision and our motive. We often say, what's the matter? If someone seems bothered by something, you've probably been asked that. What's the matter? What's wrong? What's going on? But intention reframes the question. You see, relationships fall apart at the level of intention. Think about it. Whether it is a marriage, an employment relationship, when it begins to falter, the questions, the rumination, the pondering is, what was your intention? Why did you do what you did? Or why didn't you do? We begin to question what the motive of the party was. We even, if we are honest, will begin to self-reflect and to question our own motive. Why did I ignore the red flags? Why did I give this employee a pass? Why did I excuse behavior that I had already set boundaries against? You see, intention asks, why is the matter? Why is always relevant, because the right action with the wrong motive will yield temporary results. They will not be able to be sustained. And in VIP coaching, we want transformed, sustainable results that we can maintain and build upon. And once we have cultivated vision and clarified intention, then we move to understanding our purpose. Purpose brings you into a realm that's greater than yourself. Purpose says, now that I have cultivated my vision, I know who I want to be. I know why I matter in this area. Now my purpose is to pay it forward. It's to give it back. It is to do the thing that I am divinely equipped and created to do. Your purpose may take different forms as you navigate through varied seasons in life. But once you understand purpose, purpose is a clarifier. It will help you eliminate the things that are not the best utilization of your energy, your attention, your talents, your skills, your resources, and even your very self. You see, I know that I'm put on this planet to do relationships. And so I've aligned my life that everything I do revolves around relationships, coaching, improving, and in staying in alignment and congruence with that purpose, I'm able to maximize my impact and performance. So I want to give you some powerful questions that you will be able to ask yourself. Why are powerful questions important? Because the coaching industry is all about questions. And sometimes it's not about the answer. It is asking the question that leads us to discovery. It leads us to be able to reframe our thinking and to challenge autonomous negative thoughts that we've accepted and kind of navigated on autopilot. So powerful questions anchor presence. I'm sure you've looked at this because you're struggling. And powerful questions, having someone be there to simply ask how you are, to sit with you through the asking is a powerful experience. Powerful questions, when you have the courage to ask them, will anchor you. Even when things are unstable, they will assure you that there are still things under your control. Powerful questions can further dialogue. How many times has miscommunication, offense, hurt feelings, and even distance and separation happened in relationships because we did not ask a question? We assumed we knew the answer. We assumed we understood what we heard. We assumed and we interpreted. But when we ask powerful questions, we're able to dialogue instead of debate. In debate, I want to be right. But in dialogue, I want to understand. And powerful questions equip me to do that. Powerful questions transcend time. When we are struggling with things beyond our control, things to process, we can go back and we can reframe negative experiences with powerful questions, because we can't change what has happened, but we can extract wisdom from it. And finally, powerful questions challenge our comfort. And that's where I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to leave you with the challenge to not accept dreaming, wishing for it, watching, wanting it, and seeing other people have it. But I want you to connect. I want you to begin to ask those powerful questions and begin to move your life forward. Challenge your comfort, because comfort is overrated, but asking powerful questions will move you forward. I'm Nicole Azaán, your VIP coach, encouraging you to cultivate vision, clarify intention, and understand purpose. Visit me at NicoleAzaán.com.
The crowd is going wild. Imagine the people who said you couldn't make it as a speaker are now watching to see what you do. Imagine being the celebrity of your own speaking brand. Well, that's not too far away, and I assure you, that is the power of being a dynamic speaker and a celebrity of your own brand. Hi, my name is Precious Williams. I'm the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious, where I literally teach the art and science of a killer elevator, media, investor, sales, speaker, and interview pitch. You found my work on Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, publications around the world. I've trained over 350 pitch champions, written 4 #1 best-selling books on pitching, and am now a top Fortune 500 corporate sales trainer. My clients include Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBook, financial services companies, top nonprofits, and foundations. But how did I get here? Well, welcome to the Black Speakers Network Women's History Month Speaker Series. And when I tell you that today's session is on hashtag pitch please, the power of knowing your way to success. And when we hear the word no, especially as we begin our speaking career or as we're growing it, we think, oh, the dreaded no. Well, let me tell you, it is very important that there's a power in hearing the word no. There's a power that can set your speaking brand on fire. And until you hear the word no, you may think that this is easy. You may think that, anybody can just do it by just showing up and being on camera or telling someone that they're a speaker. And again, I say, pitch please. The power of knowing your way to success is hearing the no's that will eventually turn into a yes. So in the beginning, prepare to hear no's. Prepare to hear people tell you over and over again that you should just be speaking for free, or that no one cares about what you are actually talking about. So I'm going to give you 3 lessons today that I have learned in my journey and in the lives of my clients as they built their speaking brand. Most of us got it out the mud. Most of us went through heck and high water to get to where we are. So as you watch people on social media and it seems like it was 0 to 100 real quick, let me give you the true tea. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16 years old, and I am now 44 years old. which means I've been doing this 28 years. So number one, when it comes to pitch please, the power of knowing your way to success is number one, how bad do you want to succeed as a speaker and ultimately as an influencer? How bad do you want it? Then be prepared to hear the power of no. Be prepared to hear no, no, no. Why? Because it's like a muscle. When you hear the word no and you keep persisting and you keep coming back and you keep putting this message out, your doubters will become believers. The people who told you you wouldn't succeed, you need to be in a different circle where they're going to encourage you. The more you are encouraged to put yourself out there, there will be naysayers, there will be haters. But the more you keep going with this message, the more you gain clarity and precision on your message. Your muscle will grow. You will hear no and it will roll off your back. And the reason why most people don't succeed as speakers is because they hear a couple of no's and think it's over. No. The battle just began. Any speaker that's worth their salt will tell you they heard no so often. They might even hear no today, but you keep being persistent and consistent. And let me tell you, you beat all resistance. The word no has no power over you. It's just next opportunity. Number two, go against the grain. There are so many people out here telling you you need to sound and act and speak like this. Did they ever stop to think that you have a unique voice and a message? And the way that you captivate and titillate your own audience has nothing to do with their audiences. I remember when I started pitching, again, told too fat, too black, didn't have an Ivy League degree. Who would ever listen to me? Well, they didn't know that my first pitch would get me on national television, MSNBC's Your Business with JJ Ramberg. It did not know that in 54 seconds, I'd walk away with $500,000. Not bad for the fat black woman that nobody thought would succeed. So the family and the friends that said it was impossible cannot stop the person that's doing it. I went against the grain at 327 pounds. And as a visionary, as a trailblazer, I knew that there were people who needed to hear the message that curvy women matter. And it took me all the way to Shark Tank season 8 in 2016. That took 7 of my clients on Shark Tank and they were fully funded. So when I heard the word no, I looked at it as a challenge and an opportunity to show the world that I could be in media. I could be in top Fortune 500 companies. I can write best-selling books. You're looking at my outer shell. You're looking at my perceived flaws, age, race, class, sex, sexual, anything, differently able, disability. I want you to use it as your secret weapon because they never see you coming. Never. And the same people that said that a black woman could never teach on pitching. Why am I teaching at Babson College? Why am I flown all over the world to teach and to train on the art and science of a killer pitch to be what? Slay all competition. Number 3, develop your niche. It is not enough to just, get on the bandwagon that other people are doing. If you are a motivational speaker, you better have a subset in there that people know you is the only choice that matters. When it comes to pitching, nobody does it better. And I stand as the GOAT at what I do because I'm not limited to investor pitching. I'm not limited to media pitching. I do all 6 forms with precision and strategy and cunning and skill. So the power of knowing your way to success. I have heard that so many times and so have my clients. And I look at their success today and I'm so proud that they decided to be a speaker. It's a noble profession, especially for our Black speakers. We need to show the world that we come with a different type of energy, funk, and flair. And you do not have to sound and act and look like everybody else to have a compelling message that captivates and titillates. And that's why at Black Speakers Network, Women's History Month Speaker Series, you're going to hear from a variety of women who went against the grain, who wanted to succeed as their next breath. We're willing to hear the no and hear next opportunity and keep it moving. So I challenge you. When I said in the beginning, imagine that there's a crowd on the edge of their seats. They want to hear what you have to say. They're not looking for imitations. They're looking for you. How do you become the only choice that matters? Pay attention to the 3 things I gave you today. You want to succeed as well as your next breath. Number 2, you have to go against the grain. Number 3, develop the niche that will eventually make you rich as a speaker. My contact information is my website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On LinkedIn, I am Precious L. Williams, killer pitch master. Gotta always stay on brand. On YouTube, I'm Perfect Pitches by Precious. And on Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. It has been such a delight to be with you all. And I want you all to know that if you're enjoying this series, become a premium member of Black Speakers Network. What an incredible opportunity to build your speaker brand and to become known as a celebrity in your industry. I never thought when I started pitching 10 years ago that Perfect Pitches by Precious would be a global phenomenon, and that my skin color, my gender, my ability to outwit, outplay, and outlast all competition has come into play as a speaker. As an international professional speaker, a top Fortune 500 corporate sales trainer, 4-time #1 best-selling author, I invite you to come into the Black Speakers Network family. Join Brian Olds and Quinn Conyers and all of us who welcome you. As a female, as a woman trailblazer in the world, I am proud that I've been featured in a number of media publications and I speak all over the world. And that little Black girl that was told she couldn't do it is now making way for the one who did. So go out there. Pitch please. Say pitch please when people don't put respect on your name. When they say no, say in your mind, pitch please. It's only a matter of time, like Jay-Z said. The only thing that matters is just a matter of years. Become the only choice that matters. Listen to the 3 lessons I gave you today. And again, welcome to Pitch Please, the power of knowing your way to success. No means next opportunity. And we're ready for you. Come to us at Black Speakers Network. Please connect with me on all social media. And I am so thankful to be one of the women trailblazers of Black Speakers Network Women's History Month Speaker Series. Mwah. Imagine. Pitch please. Black Speakers Network.
Happy Women's History Month, everybody. I'm Raquel Dubose. I am the owner of Be the Light Clinical Supervision and Consulting, and I'm here today to present to you some information about the role of authenticity as an entrepreneur. So many times as entrepreneurs, we get a lot of mixed messages when it comes to how we show up for ourselves, especially when it comes to our target audience. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what authenticity is, how it can help us as entrepreneurs, and what that really looks like as business owners. So let's get started. So what is authenticity, right? We talk about being authentic, being real, being genuine. Everybody wants to keep it real, but what is it really, right? So we talk about code switching. I'm sure that's like a buzzword. People talk about it all the time. We have been taught culturally that code switching is a protective factor, right? We can't show up as our true and authentic selves because that means that we can't really get ahead or get to the places that we want to go when it comes to advancing in our careers. And so code switching also talks about like cultural code switching, which means that some people may suppress aspects of themselves, like the way they talk, what they eat, how you dress, how you behave. You may alter those things to be able to fit into the majority when it comes to business and those sorts of things. So the goal for code switching for some is to make everyone else more comfortable. And so I don't believe in that, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more here today. Also, we think about family examples. So if you think about code switching or authenticity, what comes up for you? What kind of things do you think about when it comes to your family's interpretation of what that looks like? How did your family kind of guide you, or what did your family teach you about what it means to be authentic, especially at work, right? And so we have to think about where we got it from. Historical context, it talks about, we think about our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, and those folks not really being able to be their true and authentic selves for a myriad of reasons, but definitely the main one being white supremacy, right? And so we think about a different time, a different era where folks had to be a certain way in order to not get in trouble, not be arrested, those sorts of things. And so we have to understand where it came from so that we can understand how we can really change the trajectory of it and how we can show up as our authentic selves and really be able to get where we want to go when it comes to being entrepreneurs. So what does authenticity look like for entrepreneurs? So there were two psychologists that talked about an authenticity inventory, and it came in 2000, and they talked about 4 key factors: self-awareness, unbiased processing, behavior, and relational orientation. So when we think about how we are our true and authentic selves every day, who we are when we're with our friends, with our family, with our colleagues, how do we change who we are if we have to or don't? How do we change who we are to make others more comfortable, and what that does to us as people, especially if you are self-employed? So when you're more authentic, you are more likely to take risks, right? You don't concern yourself with what it looks like for people to not accept you. When you come into the arena, when you come to the table with who you are as a person, your genuine self, you're more likely to be able to maintain your values. You know who you are, you know what you want to be, you know how you want to present yourself in the world, and you know what kind of risks you want to take. It also can build emotional resilience. When you are your true authentic self, we talk about code switching, we talk about, being a different person, we wear that mask, right? And so when you don't have to wear the mask, it is so freeing. We don't have to be a different person. We can just show up for ourselves, as ourselves, to whoever wants to see us. And in professional relationships, when you show up as your authentic self, they understand that you are who you say you are, which also can translate into you are going to do what you say you're going to do. You have integrity. And so our target audience, the folks that we want to work with, our potential clients, they want to see us be our true and authentic selves. People can tell when you're being fake, right? And so we want to make sure that we are moving in integrity. We aren't wearing a mask. And we also have to know that for ourselves, to know that we are enough just as we are, so that the folks who want to come can come and who don't want to come don't have to come, right? And so for entrepreneurs, it absolutely looks like risk taking, building that emotional resilience. As entrepreneurs, we have to be resilient. Things aren't always going to go our way. And the more we show up as ourselves for ourselves, and people are able to notice that, the better that we're going to feel overall. That is a testament to our well-being, right? And then how can authenticity help in entrepreneurship? How can that help you? What does it do for us as entrepreneurs? And so financial gain, right? Would you rather spend your money with someone whose motives and their overall well-being rub you the wrong way? Wouldn't you rather spend your money with somebody that you know is going to do what they say they do, have integrity, resilient emotionally, and are able to show up just as they are, right? They have the confidence. We know that confidence sells. We know that confidence helps us get what we want. It also helps us build rapport with our target audience. When you show up as your authentic self and people notice, people are going to want to reach out to you. People are going to they're going to think of you when they think about, oh, I was doing this and this. Maybe so-and-so would like to do that. I really liked her vibe, or I liked his vibe, I liked their vibe. They were really cool, they were real, they were genuine. That's the number one thing I hear from folks when I'm doing this sort of thing, a presentation, talking to people. The number one thing I hear is that you're so relatable, you're so real. I don't change myself. I also want to kind of talk about what that looks like really what it looks like. As entrepreneurs, we have a luxury, right? We can pick and choose our clients, we pick and choose our target audience. If you work 9 to 5 and work for a corporation, you may not have the luxury of showing up as your true and authentic self. And I acknowledge that, right? Playing the game is necessary sometimes. We understand that. That's real. But we also want to be mindful of the fact that we are going where we are accepted and not tolerated. We want folks to be able to accept us for who we are. The doors that open will open for you just as you are, right? The right clients will not require you to be a different version of yourself, watered down, be a diminished version of yourself. They won't require that. Now, that is a luxury. Bills need to be paid. I acknowledge that, right? And so do what you need to do. Play the game if you need to play it. But I implore you to really be able to be your authentic self. You are enough. Who you are and how you show up in the room is what people want to see. I appreciate all of you so much for watching this presentation. My information is there. I'm Raquel Dubos, mental health counselor, mental health advocate, trauma therapist, Black woman, all things Black. Remember, you are enough.
Greetings, all. I am thrilled to be here with you today. My name is Dr. Rachel Slaughter, aka Doc, to my friends and family, which you are. I am a veteran educator and global speaker whose work is rooted in the mission to annihilate illiteracy in the world, starting in the Delaware Valley. My mission is to combat illiteracy through an intense literacy campaign. Why is this my mission? I am the CEO of Literacy University, a 501c3 organization that was formed to focus on increasing literacy efforts in low income areas where book deserts are a major problem, a hindrance to literacy. Illiteracy. This menace is also known as the silent epidemic. Listen to these alarming statistics. Nearly 800 million people in the world are illiterate, which means world illiteracy is an epidemic. Over the last 65 years, global illiteracy has increased steadily by 4% each year, with countries in the Central African Republic making up the largest part of the percentage. This rate is alarming. How can we stop the rapidly rising illiteracy statistics in America? We must demand that schools implement intense literacy campaigns in schools, beginning with hospitals where babies are born, right? And then we continue on to daycares and through private, public, charter, and other schools, even online educational institutions. The effort is not rocket science and begins with a very succinct, permanent reading digital file that can be easily stored in the cloud. Let's take a look at the process more closely. When a baby is born and vaccination shots are being prepped, right? Parents, including foster, guardian, and adoptive parents and other adults in children's lives, should be issued information on how to obtain free books for babies. Some of these resources include the Imagination Library, right? Founded by Dolly Parton. Baby's First Books, founded by Jenny Bosco in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And the Baby Einstein Book Club. Once the baby is home, local school districts and libraries should help monitor the establishment of the print-rich home, homes where books and literacy materials live and are available. Additionally, parents can upload the number of minutes they read to their babies via online programs and apps, right? Those lacking computer access can fill out forms and drop their forms in progress reports in specially designed mailboxes. Once a child is ready for preschool, that child should be equipped with reading apps and monitors and assessments that each child must complete every other month. Similar to standardized tests, these assessments would generate important scores that parents can access. The scores and reading progress would live in a digital cloud, a system that is accessed by literacy leaders and school administrators. Right? So this is how the program would run. So in elementary school, students with low or compromised scores would be required to fulfill hours online, doing assessments and instructions, and finishing programs like iReady. Every student, regardless of academic standing or Title I affiliation, should have a digital folder associated with the student's name, where his diagnostic reading scores live and his reading aptitude can be updated. In many ways, school officials are being diligent in their efforts to collect this material already, right? This literacy data. In many schools, the DIBELS are, or it's called the Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy Skills, are administered in grades 2nd through 8th, right? Those tests are scored and the results are stored and shared with parents. How is each child's reading and literacy growth monitored in middle through high school, right? Where there can be problems with literacy. It is during this period where students fall through the gaps and reading skills are compromised. A continuation of the intense literacy campaign that I outlined earlier is definitely needed. Students should be required to continue their work on literacy apps and upload the information or the scores to the cloud. Additionally, in the middle through upper grades, students should receive a reading role model. Each student should receive a reading role model. This is a teacher or trusted adult and vetted adult who would assign pre-approved reading grade level material to the student. The reading role model would read the material online, upload it to the student, and the student can access it and mimic this material. The role model should read and think critically about each selection. Critical reading could include reading responses and activities like think alouds, annotation, and journaling. At the same time, all schools should be required to host at least 4 literacy events in each school year. Literacy events that provide parents and guardians with essential and important roles in the event are very popular with students. In schools with a large African American population, school literacy leaders may decide to add African American dads to their literacy programs, right? African American dads are often overlooked in scholastic or academic programming, but African American fathers can make a huge difference in each child's reading growth. Why is this statement true? Because a boy's father is his first hero. Not only does the son look up to his father as his role model, but he also looks up to his father for guidance. A child watches his father every move. He is watching when the father is aware. He is watching when the father is not aware. Sons imitate their fathers far more often than fathers care to admit. In the minds of children, actions speak louder than words. In schools where African American boys may show little to no interest in reading, imitation can be a positive force in their reading growth. Research shows that a boy who has a father as a reading role model during his early literacy years is more likely to develop the behaviors of a literate person. This fact creates a powerful charge for a father as a reading role model. Although a father who promotes reading can change his son's entire future, some boys lack father figures in their homes. School administrators and literacy leaders can still reap the benefits of Black male reading role models by adding African American dads to their literacy programs at schools. School administrators and literacy leaders can celebrate the idea that Black male students can identify with other Black males who are willing to serve as reading role models. For more information on how I can support your literacy effort, please log on to drrachelslaughter.info. You can also find me on social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn as Dr. R.A. Slaughter. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Good night.
Are you a woman in the field of education who has felt invisible, undervalued, silenced in your professional life? Overlooked for leadership positions you know you were definitely qualified for. You are not alone. I know the feeling all too well. Hello, and welcome to Women Are a Part of the Solution in Education, Not the Problem. My name is Sheba Simpson Amsterdam. I am the founder and CEO of I'm on Assignment Inc., which is located in New York City. And I have been in the education profession in various special education positions in New York City public schools for more than 20 years. That's a mouthful. I hope you enjoy this presentation. In the United States, education has been traditionally viewed as a male-dominated field. This perception is far from reality. Women, and Black women in particular, have always been an important part in creating and leading education reform. Mary McLeod Bethune is a prime example of fearless leadership. Her unwavering belief in education should be accessible to Black children so that each of them could reach their full potential is a reason, and a prime reason, she founded a school in 1904 that is now known today as Bethune-Cookman University, which is located in Daytona Beach, Florida. Dr. Nadia Lopez is another example of an innovative and transformative educational leader. She founded Montville Bridges Academy, located in Brownsville, Brooklyn, in 2010 because she wanted to disrupt the school-to-prison pipeline that negatively impacts the school and the community. By recognizing the value of these dynamic female educators, administrators, and policymakers, we not only give them a voice, but also encourage others to step up and bring about change. We must strive to create a system that embraces diversity, encourages creativity, and celebrates the different perspectives of women in education. We can help make sure that all students get the quality education they justly deserve by valuing the expertise of female education leaders and giving them more chances to share their unique perspectives and experiences. Women are an integral part of the solution when it comes to improving the education system in America. We are not a problem to be solved. We are not. Women's History Month gives us a chance to think about how important women have been in making learning environments fairer for all students. We should be proud of these brave women who have done what they have done to challenge stereotypes, fight for changes in education systems that are equitable and diverse. They use their knowledge to bring about a positive transformation in schools that can inspire young minds towards greater heights. By recognizing and supporting women's leadership in education, we can give more teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders the tools that they need to make sure every student has an equal place to learn. Education reform is a collective effort, and by including women as valued partners in creating a lasting change, we are one step closer to achieving educational equity for all students at all levels. The month of March is not the only time to create women or center women in the field of education. Women, especially Black women in education, whose voices, skills, and contributions have been ignored and undermined in our schools and universities and colleges, need to be consistently recognized, fiercely inspired, and given the power to lead. It's that simple. While many claim they support putting women in position and power and seek to elevate their work, their voices, it is time we take real action. And the following steps are ways that we can do so and place women in education in positions of leadership in schools, universities, and colleges, as well as in rooms where education policies are being written that shift the status quo narrative in the profession of education. The first thing we can do is to provide innovative and inspiring role models. Women who are already in leadership positions should be encouraged and compensated to become mentors and role models for other women. They can provide invaluable advice on how to navigate the challenges of educational leadership, as well as motivate and empower others. The second thing we should do is to promote a culture of diversity and inclusion by encouraging an environment where different opinions and perspectives are valued and respected. More women will feel comfortable in speaking up and advocating for their views. This can create a positive cycle of more female representation in leadership roles. 3, let's implement targeted recruitment policies. Institutions should strive to hire people from diverse backgrounds, including gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, so that the leadership team in schools and universities have the representation of the student body. 4, other leadership training and development. Education institutions should provide leadership training programs to help women gain the skills and confidence on higher level roles. Also, there should be professional networking opportunities for women so that they can make friends in their field of expertise. This will help them to find out about opportunities for advancement, connect with mentors, and work with other professionals in their field. By providing these resources, institutions can create environments that are conducive to female representation in educational leadership positions. By also empowering these incredible voices in education, we can create a brighter future for everyone. It is time to honor the unseen work of women and stand up for them fearlessly and their contributions. Let us be steadfast in our pursuit to create opportunities for these dedicated women. By recognizing the value of these daring female educators, we not only give them a voice, but also encourage others to step up and bring about change. We must strive to create a system that embraces diversity, encourages creativity, and celebrates the different perspectives of women in education. By empowering these incredible voices in education, we can create a brighter future for everyone. It's time to honor the unseen work of women and stand up for their contributions. Let us be relentless in our pursuit to create opportunities for these amazing women. Education is an essential part of our society. We must come together this Women's History Month and beyond to recognize bold female heroes and support their work towards creating more equitable learning spaces for all. If you would like more information on how to improve or create leadership positions for women in education, please contact me at I'mOnAssignmentInc.com, and I can be found on all social media platforms under the name Sheba Simpson NYC. Thank you for watching and take care.
Every day, I am like a tsunami. Some days when I cry like a tsunami. The roaring waves formed by the intense wind that's been blown my way. And when the intense winds blow, a certain amount of energy transmits itself towards me, creating a collision that's beyond repair. And when the wind blows faster towards me, the tides get bigger and bigger. Often the waves and the size of the waves depend solely on how fast the winds blow. The winds of my life have been like rocket ships, but the rocket ships lead towards space. And this water that blows like a tsunami with the fastest blowing winds leads not to space, but to my heart and in my life. But not every day. Just some days I cry. And other days I'm fearless. I'm resilient. I'm powerful. And I soar ever so high, just like a tsunami. My name is Valerie Yvette Peterson. I am a poet, a playwright, and a national speaker, and I've been writing for over 35 years. My life's work focuses on our journey as women and the triumphs and the course corrections that may be necessary to manifest our joy. I am so excited to share in the joys of International Women's Day, to bring encouragement today and a sense of pride to all women in knowing that our actions can and will bring about change. You see, we were given a blueprint a long time ago, from the women's suffrage movement back in the 1800s, the women's liberation movement of the 1960s, the Black feminist movement of the 1970s, and even now with the Me Too movement. Our actions haven't stopped, and we have made great change. Women's history essentially values searching for more of the whole truth over maintaining illusions that we've already found it all. Retrieving new evidence and examining old evidence from the perspective of the woman, looking even for what lack of evidence might speak of in its silence. These are all important ways to fill in the rest of history. And as the late great writer Audre Lorde says, our silence will not protect us. When we celebrate International Women's Day, it places importance to the world that we are women and still here. We're here taking action and a stand, whereby creating an opportunity to continue to effectuate our power. And in order to effectively celebrate and honor International Women's Day and all of the amazing women across the world, we must first celebrate and honor the woman that we see every day. I've learned throughout my walk for the past 51 years that we as women are socialized to be competitive. So comparing ourselves to others can be natural, but it can also be dangerous. It is imperative to the change that we want to make to focus inward. It brings a sense of security and a sense of freedom. How often do we wake up and go about our day not feeling well physically or emotionally? And how often do we intently wish for others to give us a call and to check in on us? How often do we tell our children that we love them or tell our significant other that we love them? We may even see a coworker or an acquaintance and pay them a compliment. That's the things that we should do. But there comes a time in life when we must come to the end of ourselves and ask ourselves, how are we doing? We must be okay sometimes with not being okay, and to ask ourselves for a quick reminder of exactly who we are. Even if you don't feel particularly powerful some days, think about how far you've come and what you have survived. Fear, pain, and joy are emotions that help you understand yourself and ultimately help you realize that you're not your feelings. Because confidence is like a muscle. It grows the more that you exercise it. Because sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So don't always wait for permission when it comes to controlling your destiny. As women, we do not represent the stereotypical view that's oftentimes placed on us. We're simply women, mothers, wives, friends, educators. We have emotions like everyone else. We have feelings, expectations, morals, ideals, opinions, biases, prejudices, assumptions like everyone else. But we also have love. We show care. We feel hurt sometimes. We have pain. We work hard to feed our families. We do our best to make it to the top, and sometimes we expect the worst. We learn to forgive and overcome. We live our lives, and we love our children, and we love our spouses, and we love our sons, and we train our daughters, and we love our husbands, and sometimes we have to bury them. We love our sons and daughters, and we've had to bury them sometimes. And we cry. We protest. And we defend ourselves as women, and we defend ourselves as mothers and daughters and sisters and wives. And we cry. But what happens when we lose our strength? Our voice matters. And for me, it didn't matter that I wasn't carrying a Birkin bag. It didn't matter that at times my locks needed retwisting. It didn't matter that it took me 10 years to get my degree. It didn't matter that people would talk down upon me. Through my errors and through my struggles, I learned to grab some Windex and grab a cloth and wipe down my mirror and tell myself that I'm not whole today and to be patient with me. You see, I learned in my life that my struggle did not denounce my power, and neither will yours. Divorce did not denounce my power, and neither will yours. Tax returns and state assistance did not denounce my power, and neither will yours. You see, our struggles will never denounce our power. Our struggles are just distractions that we will step over and boldly create our voice.
I don't deserve this opportunity. I just got lucky. Anybody could have done what I did. I feel like a fraud, and one day someone is going to figure out. I don't feel confident in my abilities. I feel like I haven't earned my success. If any of these things resonate with you, more than likely you've self-diagnosed yourself with imposter syndrome, or someone has told you that's what you're experiencing. But what if I told you that you weren't experiencing imposter syndrome? What if, in fact, I told you that instead of experiencing imposter syndrome, you're dealing with the reality of people projecting how they feel about you and you accepting those projections? My name is Whitney Barkley. I am an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur. And today I want to talk to you all a little bit about something that has been in hushed tones for a long time, which is how to get over imposter syndrome and actually determining if you have imposter syndrome. So a lot of times when we talk about it, imposter syndrome is determining if you are feeling inadequate, if you have self-doubt. And typically when we look at these things, we look at it as a personal struggle. So it's something that individuals need to overcome through your willpower and determination. But what if I told you that sometimes feeling like an imposter is not just an internal battle, but what if it's more so of how others are perceiving us? So today I want to challenge this notion a little bit and challenge the myth of imposter syndrome and explore the reality of being underestimated. So I want to dive into how social and cultural factors contribute to our feelings of inadequacy and how understanding others' perceptions can help us navigate challenges that we face. So I'll start where I am. So again, I gave you guys a rundown of some of my accolades, but one of the things that's most critical is when we look at where we are. So right now I am a director of a business incubator. So I moved to a city where I literally didn't know anyone to take on a role that's very political and something that's very public facing. When I took on this role, I had a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, which I still have, but ultimately I started to battle with thoughts about not being good enough or making myself think that, was this a mistake for me to be here? But one thing that I had to recognize, and this is to my first point, you have to realize who is in your corner. So who is in your ear? Sometimes when we are put in positions to succeed, whether we're in a public facing role, whether we're an entrepreneur, it really matters who is around us and who is in your circle. And so one of the things that I had to do was to audit who was around me and what was the intention behind the advice or the things that people were telling me. And I recognized that every piece of advice is not good advice. And if you listen to someone tell you that you're not doing something well enough, and if you're not monitoring what those intentions look like, then ultimately you start to believe what that person is telling you about yourself. So it's really important to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who have good intentions, who understand your goals, and ultimately is someone who cares about your well-being. I can't stress that enough. I think making sure that you have the right people and the right circle around you can help you ultimately mitigate some of those feelings that you're having in terms of feeling like an imposter. The other thing that I think is important is to make sure that you are ultimately giving yourself grace. And one thing that I've experienced just as a Black woman, I always feel like I have to go to the top, right? I always have to be a superhero, superwoman. I always have to strive and exceed expectations. But I've recognized that one of the ways to help battle imposter syndrome or battle what you think others are projecting on you is to make sure that you're giving yourself grace. Affirm to yourself that you're doing the best that you can with what you have. I think that ultimately gets rid of some of those negative thoughts and feelings around where you are in this moment. So be sure to give yourself grace and always recognize that even if you don't get the result or the outcome that you want, the only L's that we take in life are lessons. So as long as you're learning something from an experience, you never lose. The other piece that I think is important is recognizing and remembering that you are here for a reason. If you've ever told yourself that you couldn't do something, or you're not where you're supposed to be, or if you're questioning where you are in this moment, stop. Ultimately, what you want to do is recognize that we're never put in positions that we can't handle. You know, whether you're someone who is of faith or whether you're someone who just truly believes in yourself, I really think it's important for you to understand that you're here for a reason. So all of those experiences, those credentials, those connections, that education, everything that you've acquired over time has prepared you for this moment. Even if you don't feel like you know everything that's happening or what's going on in the moment. And if you're someone who's embarking on something that's new, whether it's a new career move or whether it's a new business, remember, everyone has to start somewhere. Everyone is not always an expert when they start. So again, going back to my earlier point, make sure that you give yourself grace and make sure that you recognize that you are called here to this moment. So when you feel like you need to do something, when you're called to do something, you know, lean into that. Be excited about where you are, and make sure that you acknowledge that even though you may not necessarily think that you have everything that you need, those things will ultimately be provided. You know, if you're someone of faith, I believe that God creates provisions. If you're someone who is resourceful, know that you have a network and people around you that can help you. So, you know, just really make sure that you're constantly reminding yourself that it's no mistake that you are where you are in this moment. I had a lot of come to Jesus moments throughout my entrepreneurial journey. And, you know, more recently, my journey into the academic world, taking on this role as a director of a business incubator. And, you know, throughout this journey, I've always recognized that eventually you figure it out. Eventually, even though you may not feel like you are up to par or that you're measuring up, ultimately, if you continue to do the work and if you continue to have faith and a belief in yourself, then ultimately those things begin to balance out. Now, I want to end with this. Again, you know, imposter syndrome is something that's internal, but ultimately, the most important thing that I want you to recognize is when you're saying things like you don't deserve an opportunity, or if you feel like you're just getting lucky, or if you're not feeling that you're just as smart for everything that you want to do, I want you to remember that ultimately you have to assess where that's coming from. Is that something that you truly feel? Or is that something that someone is telling you? Is that something that society is putting on you? And we have to understand where our thinking process comes from and what's influencing it in that current moment. So that's the one thing that I want to leave you guys with today, is just to make sure that you're really understanding where these feelings are coming from. Because if you didn't believe in yourself, you wouldn't have had the thought, you wouldn't have taken the first step. So what's causing you from having a blockage? What's causing you to stop where you are? I think that's just something that's the most important thing to consider. So as you think about imposter syndrome, and as you think about being perceived in a certain way, I want you to remember to just always bet on yourself, always bet on you, and always make sure that you tell yourself that you are absolutely doing your best. And anyone who knows you and knows your true intentions can recognize that. And if people look at your best, and if it's not something that they think is up to par, it's truly a filter, right? So by you being authentically you, by you leaning into what it is that you do, it ultimately will attract the people who are for you, and it will ultimately show you the people who are not. But we can't always focus on what others think. One big lesson that I've learned is that we can't always please everyone, right? Everyone is not going to be pleased, or everyone's not going to be excited about what we do, but we have to continue to move on anyway. My name is Whitney Barkley, And I'm just excited to be here with you all. I hope that you have a wonderful Women's History Month. If you'd like to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn at the name Whitney L. Barkley and also on Instagram. Thank you.
Ooh, friend, I don't know about you, but I got exactly what I needed today. Listen, I need you to drop in that chat right now, and whatever takeaway, whatever pierced your heart today, that thing that you're walking away with, drop it in the chat. It may not be just for you. Somebody else needs it as well. So go ahead, drop it in the chat right now. What are you going to take with you from this experience today? And you can take in this entire series. Whatever you have missed, you can go watch entire segments. You can go pull out specific segments. You can go back and take in all of this goodness as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. I want you to go to blackspeakersnetwork.com/events/WHM23. All of the links are going to be down below. So just click the link and go get these messages. Listen, if you are a part of an organization who is seeking or looking or thinking about bringing in a speaker to empower your team, to empower your community, you need to reach out to these speakers. Make sure that you go below and you click and you reach out to these folks so that you can bring these messages to your community. And if you are a speaker with a message, you need to join us in the Black Speakers Network. What are you waiting for? You know you have something to say. You know you have a method. You know you have a tool, something that people can use. Go to Black Speakers Network/join, and you need to come on into this community. I cannot tell you how much it has enriched my life since becoming a part of this network. You need to come on in and join us, friend. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you took this time to pour into you. And I hope you will take those next steps to pour into somebody else. As we say at BSN, speak up. Your audience awaits. I'll see you next time, friends.